looking at the hall that I work in,
Yeah.
and I would love to dance do choreography in there. It's me, it's almost as large as a mini skating rink.
Alright, we're on 283 Osho first in the morning. What Christ says, okay, thank you, is his own experience, and what the Christian says is his belief. And the distance between experience and belief is vast. It is unbridgeable. Never be a believer if you want to know the truth. I'm not saying be a disbeliever, because that is, again, a belief, a negative belief, an anti-belief. So there are Christians that are clinging to a belief, and there are people like Friedrich Nietzsche, who used to sign his name Antichrist. Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, what that is going to another extreme. Why should you sign your name Antichrist? Somebody's Christian, somebody's anti-Christian, but both are confined. One is in a positive way, another in a negative way. My effort here is to give you freedom from both kinds of beliefs, the positive and negative, so that you can explore on your own. The truth is as available to you as any Jesus, any Buddha, or any Krishna. It is nobody's property. It is everybody's birthright. One should explore it, one should go into it, rather than believing. One should go with an open mind. Belief closes you. You are already living with a conclusion which is not yours, which is given by others, which is really accidental. If you had been brought up by a Hindu, you would have been a Hindu. If you had been brought up by a Mohammedan, you would have been a Mohammedan. So it is just a question of conditioning, of who your conditioners were, of who you were accidentally born to. They have conditioned your mind. Each person's mind was conditioned by their parents. Come out of all conditioning, become free so that you can explore, so that you can inquire. A man who already has a conclusion becomes incapable of inquiry. The first requirement of inquiry is to drop all a priori conclusions, and then one day you can experience. The day you experience, you become a Christ. You become a Buddha on your own. And that has beauty. Christ is beautiful, but a Christian is ugly.
I think he's basically saying that we gotta try and live out of bondage or captivity. By indoctrinated by those that claim they're believers or they adhere to certain rituals or beliefs. So once you seek your own knowledge, you can make your own judgment based on, verifying different aspects of life.
In relation to the martial arts, it's teaching you to not be a believer of style, not to be confined by style. Don't be conditioned by style. So, for example, when we spar in here, that's your experience. Like, through your experience, what do you find to be truth? Now, when you guys are learning a certain way, like even when I show you guys something on the wooden dummy, if you haven't experienced it yourself, then it becomes a belief. Like, you think that this would work, but you never actually tested it. You never actually seen it work for yourself as far as applying it. So that's kind of like the difference. Like, believing, like even Bruce Lee, like his methods are very scientific. But if you never spar and you just read his books and you just learn from his books and his movies, you're still believing in it, but you never experienced it. So when you spar, you actually experience, and then you see, okay, based on my experience, I know that this works and I know that this doesn't work. And then you discover truth. So even if whoever you're learning from is giving you a great method to learn from, you'll still be bound by belief unless you experience it. So for the martial arts, that's why it's important to add sparring to your development, so then you can actually know through experience, opposed to just believing, that whoever's teaching is telling you I mean, because it might work for him, but it might not work for you. That's just the case how it goes sometimes, you know. So you have to discover for yourself what the truth is. And sparring, you know, helps you do that. You know, in the martial arts specifically. The 9 months when a child is in the womb are significant because the mother and the child live in deep harmony, no separation and deep unity. The child breathes through the mother, he pulsates in the same rhythm as the mother. He goes on hearing the heartbeat of the mother. Psychologists say that it is because the child hears the heartbeat of the mother that music gives us so much enchantment. Without that, if a child is brought up in a freezer and sooner or later they are going to do that, he will have no desire for music. He will have no sense of rhythm. He will be cold, utterly cold. He will not have any warmth. He is not known the mother's womb. He will be almost inhumane because the child continuously changes with the mother's moods. And it is not a one-way traffic either. The mother changes with the child's mood. It is a constant exchange. Those 9 months, the pain, the heaviness, the sacrifice are a must. Otherwise, the mother will miss something. The same is true about truth. You have to mother it. You cannot adopt it. Meditation simply means dropping all that is adopted so you can become free to know that which is within you. People go astray because they don't know where to look for advice. In the past, they used to go to the priest, and now they have started going to the psychoanalyst. The psychoanalyst is the new priest. Neither the priest nor the psychoanalyst knows anything. The priest himself was in confusion, so is the psychoanalyst. The psychoanalysts have their problems, they have not solved their own problems. They have their difficulties, their own mess. And in fact, they are in more of a mess than anybody else, than any profession. No other profession commits suicide so often, and no other profession goes insane as much as the psychoanalysts. And they are trying to help people. They themselves are not healed. The old proverb is absolutely pertinent to them. Physician, first heal thyself. But their profession is very profitable. It always has been. The priest or the witch doctor or the psychoanalyst all belong to the same chain. They all exploit one thing in different names, and that is that people have gotten to listen to their own hearts. My effort here is to help you to find your own voice so that you don't need any other advice. I don't give you any advice. I don't try to solve your particular problems. My effort is totally radical. I simply help you to turn off the noise inside so that you can hear your own voice. And then you cannot go wrong. Then you live in your own light.
I think it basically says that we should stop trying to seek wisdom from so-called aspect, because they're not aspect. They're just people who are just doing a job based on profession and survival. But there's certain things that you do not require somebody else's advice, because nobody can predestine your life except, an Almighty God or the Supreme Power. So pretty much he's alluding to the fact that people always think that by having money and able to go to this psychiatrist, you think you can sort of tailor your destination because you paid so much dollar on so-and-so qualified person who's going to tell you, the right path. But that money cannot buy you, wisdom, because it's the very same person that you go into has their own problem, like they said, has their own problem at home. Because they just human beings just like us, irrespective of their qualification. But I don't know, it's insane to think that So to apply that in martial art, I think he's saying that we shouldn't think that, oh, because I go to Sifu 2 days a week or 3 days a week, I'm going to become, or I'm going to be better than Sifu. It's based on your effort. It's based on what you do. Sifu can teach you the technique, but are you working hard on those techniques? Are you doing your due diligence in order to know, about martial art? Not only to just sit here for 20 minutes and that's it. Go home and think that you can kick ass. So it's a whole lot of factors involved.
What I take away from it is he's indicating like the power of wisdom from within yourself and truth within yourself. Buddha himself, when he was seeking towards enlightenment, I think he went 7 years trying to look for outside masters to show him towards the path. None of them could do it for him, and then he just got exhausted with all these different masters trying to show him the ways that didn't work. And then he just got so exhausted that he fell asleep under like a Bodhi tree, where he just kind of got exhausted. He just went under the tree, and then he became enlightened at that moment because he found the truth within himself. All the great teachers teach you that, like Bruce Lee, Osho, Krishnamurti, Buddha. They all tell you that the wisdom is within you. Now, the thing is, when he's talking about psychoanalysts and priests, the thing is, when there's a lot of priests out there and there's a lot of psychoanalysts and psychologists, which there are, a lot of people with degrees, the more people out there that have something, then there's more likely that there's more people that don't know what they're talking about or what the truth is. So I think what he's saying is, like, you're learning from somebody that doesn't even know the way for himself. Like, he has his own problems. He hasn't even solved his own problems. Now he's trying to solve your problems. It doesn't make sense. So it's like trying to go to somebody that's poor for money. He doesn't even have money. So you're asking a poor person for money. He can't give you any money. But if you go to somebody that has a lot of money, then he could provide you with money because he has a lot. So if you go to somebody who's healed himself, who found the truth within himself, and he knows the path, then he could help you. Like if you encountered a real Buddha, he could help you. But the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that don't know the path, and they're trying to show you something that they don't know, and then you get further and further away from the truth. So, in relation to the martial arts, it's similar. Like if you're gonna learn martial arts from somebody, you want to learn how to defend yourself. Then whoever you learn it from, they need to know how to defend themselves. They need to know it, and once they know it, then they can share it. But if they don't know it, then they can't share it, because whatever they share, it's going to be false. It's not going to be based on truth. It's going to be based on a belief. And that's what styles are, once again. It's just a belief, just you think something, but you don't know it. So what the teaching is kind of indicating is go towards truth. First, towards the truth within yourself. But sometimes it's difficult. It might take years, decades, even a lifetime to find that truth within yourself, and then sometimes you might need a little assistance from the outside. But whoever you get the assistance from, you gotta be very certain that they know, So, you gotta go to reliable sources, basically. Sources that are, where they help you see the truth that you've already experienced. So if you read like the Tao Te Ching, for example, from Lao Tzu, doesn't matter if it's from Lao Tzu, Chang Tzu, Lei Tzu, or whatever the person's name is. You read that text, it points you towards truth of which you should have already experienced. Like it'll say something like, there could not be such a thing as short without tall. Like there can't be positive without negative. There can't be light without night, or like darkness without light. It just shows, it just speaks truth for what it is, and then you can experience it through your own experience, and like, hey, I get that, because it makes sense, because I see that in my life. and they point you towards the truth. So Lao Tzu, Buddha, Bruce Lee, Osho, they just point you towards the truth, and then they can be good guides, you know. But then they say don't focus on the person, focus on what they're pointing towards. So that's the general thing that I think that he's indicating. Because even by Osho, you know, this book right here, reading from him, he's a source, you know. But he's not like a psychoanalyst. He's not a priest. He's not trying to exploit you or make money off you. He's just stating something that, you know, the truth of what he sees. And then through seeing that or hearing that, do you see it yourself? You know, that's the question. Do you see it?
Pretty interesting. I was supposed to be a social worker, but I met a social worker and she was depressing. And I figured, you know, having gotten a degree in social work or sociology, I decided I didn't want to take on nobody else's issue. You know, because as Sequel hinted, you take on somebody else's issue that they're like their world, that you know what they're dealing with, and it becomes your problem.
Yeah, they're way heavy on you, because imagine all these baggages people are loading on you every day.
And you need your own social worker for that to help you get off your problem. And so I chose not to do that. But I went to the source and started reading about the Dalai Lama, about Buddha, and then the Dalai Lama. And I had the pleasure of going down to Michigan Avenue when he was here in Chicago, once I got off from work. And so a little bit of it was a pleasure, you know, and I got a number of tapes of him, CDs of him, Tranquility, The Art of Happiness, and books on him, and some on Osho, talks about, I think, Buddhism and Christianity, and it gives you a bit of insight that I find very comforting. And I look forward to getting more insight with this class here. I'm going to try to do just like I did getting my paralegal degree. Just get cemented.
Okay guys, let's work some things out there.
Okay.